Welcome to video 2 in a series of introductory videos for the InventorCAM CNC programming software. This video's topic is global tool table setup and local tool table setup. So the tool table is essentially just the list of tools you're going to use in your operations. Globally, what you'll be doing is just creating that list for use with any InventorCAM part that you open up. So we begin by going to Tool Library. We'll go to New, and we were given the option of choosing between milling, turning, and mill turn. All you're really doing here is choosing the type of library you'd like to create. So if we choose milling, we're just creating milling tools. If we choose turning, it's just turning tools. Mill turn, because a mill turn could have live tooling, it could use both. So in an effort to show you both of them, I'm just going to choose mill turn. So the first window we see here is actually the name of that tool table. So I'll just call it Intro Tool Table. And I can choose which machine I'd like to relate it to. Now we do that by choosing the post processor we'd like it to be tied to. So as soon as you choose that post, it should pull up this tool table that I'm about to create. It should tie them together. In this case though, I'm just going to leave it blank, and that way it doesn't mean that it doesn't show up at all. It just means that I haven't actually assigned it exactly to a particular post. It'll just sit in my global tool library folder for whenever I need to pull tools from there. So I'll just click OK on that. And it brings us to this interface here. So this is currently blank because it's a brand new tool library. So I'll just create a tool as we go along. So I'll begin with a milling tool. So you'll see from here that InventorCAM is asking me which type of tool I'd like to create. So I'll just go with the simplest one. I'll just say end mill, so flat end mill. As soon as I choose the type, it brings up this dimensional window where I can put in specifics of that tool. So in this case, the cutting diameter, the arbor diameter, overall length, how far it's sitting outside the holder, the cutting length, or in this case, the flute length. All these dimensions are represented here by this little dimensional drawing right here. So you can actually see what it is you're describing as you go along here. The feeds and speeds of this particular tool, I can plug in here in either inch per minute, or inch per tooth, or if you were metric, it'd be millimeters per minute or millimeters per tooth. Again, that goes back to the global settings you would have seen in video 1. What you choose here is the default settings for this tool. But again, on a part-by-part, operation-by-operation basis, you can plug in specific feeds and speeds for that operation. All these are just placeholders so that when you first open up this tool and add it to an operation, you have something in that feed and speed prompt. But you can always go in there and make changes to them. iData is where you provide information related to the iMachining. So you'll see that the material database is currently empty. Again, that is something that you'll fill in when you get to the operation. Right now we're just looking at the global library. So we're just putting in generic entries for specific, for general uses of this particular tool. Holder. InventorCAM comes with some basic holder definitions, holder shapes. If you have specific shapes, custom holders that you'd like to create, just give us a call and we can help you with that. Or you can check on the SolidCAM University YouTube channel for how to create custom STL holders, custom shape tools, shape holders. Okay, so once we create that, that becomes part of the global library. That is a milling tool. Let me just show you how to do a turning tool. So turning tools, it's the same sort of thing. It's asking us which type of tool we'd like to create. Now with the turning tools, obviously they're different. You'll see here that you have composite tools and you have solid tools. The difference is, if I create one of each, I'll start with the composite tool, is what we're doing with the composite tool is it's very basic, it's very standard. We just tell it the type of insert and the type of shank. When it comes to the insert, it follows the standard nomenclature you'll find in your catalogs. If I want to make a very common tool, let's say a CNMG 432. You'll see that it pops up over here. Again, that corresponds with the nomenclature you will find in a standard insert catalog. In terms of the shank, again, it's just very standard kind of stuff here. Dimensions you can see on the side here. This is for standard tools, and this is just kind of a quick way to create them. One thing I always like to point out is under the insert, if there's something to do with your shank, maybe you have the correct insert, but you don't have a custom shank, or you don't want to go and create a custom shank, you just want to use the insert and just get programming, you can always click on Insert Only. And what that'll do is it'll take this tool representation and then just shrink it right down to just the insert. So you don't have to worry about collisions with the shank, assuming that you are sure that you won't collide with the shank. But again, if you need help with the custom shank creation, we can always help you with that. So that was a custom composite tool. Now, if we create another tool here using the solid tools, you'll see the main difference. As soon as you go to external roughing tool, turning tool, you'll see that there's many more dimensions to put in the solid tool. So again, this is kind of a way to create more of a customized shape of your shank and your insert. But there are other ways that, again, if you have a much more complex custom tool, we can help you with that. And again, for both of those, feeds and speeds will be inch per minute or inch per rev in this case because it's a turning tool. And again, those will just be placeholders as soon as you open up this part. Now you'll see that the mounting is currently grayed out. That's because these tools could be mounted in any direction. And right now I am just doing it in a general sense. I'm just describing these tools dimensionally. Once we get to the operation side, you'll actually see where you can actually define how this is mounted in your turret. Okay, now these are tools I just created now by providing these information, but InventorCAM does come with a series of default tool libraries, or yourself, when you create these tools, you can actually export them to a tool library. So I'll cover those real quick. So let's say these three tools were done and I saved them to this particular library. If I wanted to actually export them to a completely different library, under a different name, I can just say export all, and then save those to a different library, and then just keep adding tools to this one, exporting them to different ones, anything I want to do. Now, while I'm building this particular library, if I like to pull from a previously created library or from one of those default libraries that I mentioned that comes with InventorCAM, I can go to import and actually browse from the default libraries or some of these libraries I have created and actually pull from them. So let's say we go to the general library. So these are all tools that were preloaded into InventorCAM that I could use with any of my operations. The way to navigate this particular window is to use the filters. So these little triangles up here are the filters. So let's say for tool type, if I clear all, let's find a 1/4 inch flat end mill. So I'll go to end mill. So it filters the list to only show me the flat end mills. And I'm looking for a 1/4 inch. So I'll just click on that triangle there. And let's say 1/4 inch. And just to really shrink down this list, I'm just going to go 0.2499. So anything that falls into those two criteria pops on the table right now. So we can see that tool 20 is a flat end mill and it is a 1/4 inch in diameter. So in the bottom left corner, I'll click on the white arrow to import the currently selected tool. If I click on the blue arrow, it'll import everything in this library. So if you were trying to merge multiple libraries, you could click on the blue arrow and bring everything into one library and you'd have one massive library. Or if you're maybe just merging 2 or 3, whatever it is, anything on this screen will be added. By choosing the white arrow, I'm really just adding the particular tool that I have highlighted right now. So tool 20, I'll just click on the white arrow, import it either with the tool numbering or the tool positioning, and that adds it to this library, and I can save this library as my intro tool table. It has these 4 tools, and I can exit. So that's how you create a global library. Now let's see how this operates when we get to the actual operation side. So I'll just go to recent CAM parts, open up a recently opened part, and to access the tool table on the operation side, on the tool side, here we are. So I double-clicked on tool. You'll notice that the interface is exactly the same. So I have the option of creating tools, either milling or turning tools in this mill turn module on this screen as well. The difference here is if I add a tool inside the part, then that tool definition only exists inside the part. It does not exist in the global library. To make it a global library, like you saw before, I can just click on export, and then I can export whichever tools I want to a particular library. Here, it's just a local active tool library. So let's say I wanted to add a tool. I'll go to import tools, browse to the library I'm looking for. So let's just say these turning tools here. And from the descriptions, I'm looking for that CNMG that I created. So once again, I click on the white arrow to import that tool. It is now part of this library. I can click save. Now it's part of the active tool library, but like I mentioned, now that we're inside the part, I can actually describe the mounting. So I'll click on mounting. You You can see that it's mounted correctly. But again, that is just for the general use. Now let's say we open up turning operation. We'll go turning. And we'll cover this when we get to the later videos. I'm just going to create a quick internal turning. And we'll go to Tool. So this tool selection right here actually brings us back to that tool library we were just in. So I'll click on Select. This time, though, on the operation side, you'll see that I have tool angles that I can select. This will actually mount the tool correctly. So let's say I want to do that internal turning in this direction. Now the tool, you can see from the bottom left corner, is oriented correctly. So that is everything to do with tool tables and tool creation. Any questions on that, you can always call us at 1-866-975-1115, extension 2. Any part-specific questions, you can always submit your part using the e-ticket system at solidcamsupport.com, or stay tuned for the rest of the videos in the introductory series. Thanks for watching.